All right. Now, am I in the right spot?
Hi, my name is Regis Altair of HoloStar's English Leader, Tempus Good, and here is Slime, and I have a little bit of tabletop roleplay experience, not a lot, but...
Why are you talking so fast?
I can get away, I can get around. My character's name is Zephos, Z-E-P-H-O-S, just one name, Zephos. It's related to the god of wind. My character is a scout for the outside world, or to the outside world, for the Elven Kingdom. He has, kind of like gray, pale skin since he was in the forest his entire life, and he has white hair. Yeah, kind of lanky, kind of thin. I would say, I think they're trying to find their way around the world because of their background, they haven't had that much exposure to the outside world, and I guess being a mercenary, being an adventurer, would allow them to learn more and find their way.
Okay, and there we go, gamers. So we've got Altair playing as Zephos, the Elven Sorcerer, whose background is being a wayfarer. You can see the stats right there to my left. You cannot see the species traits or anything like that, but you don't need to worry about that. We'll figure that out as we get into the game, baby! So... Very charismatic, this sorcerer. Interesting, and directly hailing from the elves of Silerum to the far, far, far northwest. I believe they are the Lorelei elves. Culturally, that's who they are as a people. And he has a couple languages, but he does speak Phiosan, so don't worry too much about that. I'm excited to see how he handles playing as a caster character, and I'm really excited to see how he handles the narrative that he's got set up. He's definitely tied heavily into some of the lore, but I won't spoil how or what. But I am glad that we have somebody who is, you know, digging into that a little bit.
Usually when I play, I go like rogue and, you know, all like that sneaky stealth type character, but, you know, I was like, maybe it's time for a change. I'm going to be a human using like my fist and stuff to fight. No weapon, you know, just going out Street Fighter style. Be a monk, you know? Is like that, you know, bad guy looking character, which is not really understood well by his surrounding and everyone, but, you know, deep down he's got a good heart and is just, you know, fighting to live, you know. He only fights and he only, you know, does all these bad stuff to take care of his family and his, you know, and himself. So that's the goal, I guess, is to really not to prove anything and all that, but it's more like to just make sure that the people he cares about has a safe place, and a, you know, and a roof over their head.
We got a family man here. Well, a family lad here. We got a family lad here, baby. That's right. We love when our players have families because that gives you, as a DM, the ability to tug at their heartstrings. I'm a monster! No, I'm kidding. Yeah, a monk with a -1 constitution. Now, I'm going to let you guys in on a secret. I let the boys allocate their stats how they wanted. Axel chose to have charisma be his second highest stat. He made a decision, and I'm not going to tell him no, but I will let you know that I did warn all of these boys when they were making choices that were suboptimal, but story comes before, you know, balance, and I'm okay if they want to make a character that is going to struggle in some contexts. A -1 constitution is going to struggle in some contexts, and that's okay. We'll figure it out as we go.
Well, my character's name is Count Christoph Kirsch. He is a nobleman. He's got kind of a maybe overconfident to a fault sort of attitude. He's very wealthy. He's from a family of deep wealth, but he wants to not be in this lavish, rich sort of environment, so he is going to kind of learn adventuring as it begins. So he proceeded to continue to wear his nobleman's clothes, but also a giant iron knight's helmet on his head at all times. He wants to kind of break the mold from his family bloodline, you know, not kind of mix into what his family wanted him to be and what he was told to be. He wants to be something else, maybe an adventurer, maybe something else, but I think maybe he's just looking for a place in the world, but what he does know is he does not want to be where where his family wants him to be.
There you go. We've got Count Crimzon Ruze, the noble human fighter. So Bettel is the one who raw dogged those rolls and took no fourth dice to drop. However, I will say this. Bettel actually rolled really well, what you're seeing on the far left over there. And this is actually footage from when he rolled again because I did not record his first rolls. My fault. His first rolls were this stat lineup you're seeing on the sheet. I then recorded extra footage just to have something on the left there. And on the second rolls, just classic Bettel luck, he rolled 2 17s and almost no negatives. Needless to say, I did not give him that set of rolls. True. I'm excited to see where this character goes. And I noticed a lot of you are talking about the pistol, and we'll talk a little bit more about that once we get into session 1. Maybe that'll come up. Maybe that's important to his narrative. Who knows? We'll find out later, won't we? Won't we? Ding! We'll talk about Count Crimzon Ruze at a later date. He, much like Altair, is tied heavily into a specific narrative plotline because Bettel wanted to be involved in the world and involved with a character that had sort of deeper roots in this setting. And we'll talk about that as we go along. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so the class I'm playing is Warlock. He's an ocean lizard man. They're very big. Okay, so ocean lizard man, you said, was mine 6 feet or is it 7 to 8 feet tall?
They're a little closer to 8 feet.
He is aptly dressed. He has had run-ins where, you know, he works as like a pirate, that type of thing. And you think, oh, this guy's gonna look like a barbarian. He is very sharply dressed, but he is not. He's like a faker is what I'd say. He likes to pretend he's a part of that world, but really he has come from the down low. And then with his clan, right, they believe in more peace. He goes, that's stupid. But at the same time, he talks big game, but he cannot commit to it. He's kind of a coward. He will never do the dirty work himself. He tries to be loyal, but when it comes to his life, he gets really scared. He talks big game, but then when push comes to shove it, it's like kind of really pathetic. He has a contract as a warlock. I think I put there, he can never really do heinous things. He has a good heart, sort of. He's incredibly selfish and like a mean person, but he has morals, but he's looking for lots of money because then he used money as security, but he thinks that if he goes any certain way that it'll take forever and then he'll have to form bonds with people that he doesn't want to form or be indebted to people. He will keep flopping sides just to get whatever works for him. Most people would be either not taken seriously or go, what the fuck's your problem? But then he somehow eases his way out of it.
All right, cool character concept. I really love it. He actually comes from an offshoot of the Ocean Lizardmen. There is a subculture, for those of you who are around for the world-building membership streams, that you might remember mentioned in passing, but I won't spoil what that is, and I hope you won't either, but just keep your eyes out for those in the know. He is not from the main Ocean Lizardmen, the Iwashi culture. He is from a subculture, but we'll talk about that a little bit later, yeah? I'm excited to see how Playon kind of moves that forward as we go. Yeah. We don't have a name just yet. Flayon was working using my Lizardman language. He wanted to know how they talked, and I informed him that they do not use labials because they do not have the ability to press their lips together to form labials. So they cannot pronounce like P or B or V or F sounds, and their W's sound less like a W and more like a H. So he's trying to work on setting up a name using those rules. So we'll see how it goes. I know he's been kind of asking me a few questions. I've been giving him some, vague inspiration in DMs and talking about that. So.
All right. So my character is basically a Kinku, and his name is Corvin. Corvin Birdheart. So I'm actually very excited to see what type of development we give him, what type of background story we give him. So I'm very excited. I'm super excited to see how it all goes. Speaking too much about the goals that he has would be spoiling the whole backstory and the whole foreshadowing that we got for him, because we have put a bit of thought into this, so I'm very excited to reveal that to you guys. But honestly, he's just a little guy in this little big world.
No spoilers. He does have a very deep backstory and deep ties to the lore as well, so I'm excited to see what he does to that. So Haka is playing a Kinku by any other name, but in this world there are no Kinku. He is in fact cursed. He is the first of his kind. No one has ever seen anything like this. He is a cursed birdkin. He is a small Kinku with a move speed of 25, but he is a powerful wizard who has strong magics at his disposal. 7 hit points, yeah. Wizards are one of these, if not, I think they are the squishiest characters in all of D&D, and unfortunately, he only has a 1 in Constitution, so he really isn't adding a lot to that. But he'll figure it out as he goes along. We'll see what he can get done. I trust Haka not to die, probably, maybe. Next one up is going to be Shinri, of course. Let's see what we got, gamers. I hope you're excited so far about the characters that they're designing, and here we are.
Konnichiwa, my name is Josueiji Shinri. I have, I would say, about a couple of years worth of experience. Most of it was back in the olden days. This time I'll be playing a druid, and honestly, it's not really the archetype I'd kind of go for. I personally like something that's a lot more physical, a lot more frontline, a lot more tanky, but this time I kind of wanted to try a bit more of the mysticism aspect of it and see what some of the shape-shifting, like the intricacies that it could bring. First time druid. My character's race is a tiefling. Stature-wise, pretty tall. Having to survive out there and kind of manage the wilderness kind of gets you into the position of where you have to be pretty big. You know, I don't have that much clothing on. The clothing that I do have is mostly made from natural materials such as, you know, bark or woven from plant fibers and possibly pelts here and there. Attitude-wise, very cautious of humans, having grown up majority in the forest without really having that much interaction with others, a little bit standoffish, but willing to help if the cause seems right. A little wary because we don't have that much experience. There wasn't much socializing, having been born and kind of left in the jungle, being raised by wild animals instead of a village or a town or a city. They really are simply just looking for this place in the world, because having been born as a tiefling and living in the forest, he knows that there's something wrong. He doesn't really fit in as a more sapient creature who has this ability to have higher thinking. Understands that they may have a responsibility to take care of the world and protect it in a way that simple nature might be threatened in. And I think through that effort, he's going to try and understand, you know, his responsibility, not as someone that takes control of nature, but more of a steward, a guide to kind of help nature, you know, avoid the dangers of excessive industrialization or exploitation by others.
Nice. Nice. Very cool. All right. So there you go. We've got Shenri's character. No name just yet, but a tiefling raised in the wilderness, abandoned by their family at an incredibly young age due to their cursed bloodline. Yeah, I'm very excited to see where that goes, actually. And I really like the mentality that Shinri's bringing to Druid. I think too often people don't think about how much Druid should influence your personality as a character. And I think Shinri's leaning really heavy into it. And I think that's really cool. I'm excited to see where that goes and what happens with that.